So, by far and away, the thing that everybody in the comments talks the most about on every single Saints Row 5 video that I make, the story. You guys, every single person pretty much in the comments has at least thrown their idea in the hat of what they think the story of the next Saints Row game should be. I even have some people who write full-on scripts that they want to see for the next Saints Row 5 game, or at least whole plots written out. So there's a lot of effort, a lot of thought going into this. So what I wanted to do today was talk about the story, because we know even though it's an open world game and the gameplay is king, that's what needs to be their top priority. You also need to have a really awesome story with awesome characters and great missions. To me, there's 5, maybe 6 options that Volition can choose here for the next Saints Row game. And yes, I'm very aware, they mention it pretty much every day on their Twitter that they've been working on it since Agents of Mayhem was released. So 3 years, 4 years of development time pretty much. Dude, they've already picked which story they're going with, but this is some guesswork and just some fun wish list idea work here to see which one of these options did they pick for the story. Let's get into it. First up, let's start with the one that honestly most people say in my comment section is what they want, because it allows you to reintroduce some old characters and keep them, not have a fresh cast, so characters that you really love and want to see again can reappear. It allows the game to go back to its roots. It allows you to maybe revisit Stillwater plausibly and have a story where you don't have to worry about the whole Earth being blown up thing from Saints Row 4. What is that? It's a prequel, baby. Now here, there's a couple different options, okay? The first one that I think would be awesome, yes, there is one major problem with it, but it's a Johnny Gat prequel. Playing a younger Johnny Gat, seeing his roots, maybe how he got introduced into the Saints, play his whole storyline, because he said it best.
Who doesn't want to be Johnny Gat?
And look, I know we got to play as him in Gat Out of Hell for an entire game, but I think that having a more down-to-earth, back-to-the-roots version of Johnny Gat, a younger version of him, would be super awesome and a ton of fun. A ton of people would be super happy with it. And to me, the big problem that I mentioned earlier, it's the character customization. Basically, every game, of course, except for Gat Out of Hell, has had extensive customization for your character. You guys have seen me. I've made my guy Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've made my guy Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, The Rock. I mean, the list could go on and on. Thanos. So that is a big problem because Saints Row is known for its character customization, and you are taking a risk by taking that away. But think about it. If there was one guy that you would be okay taking away that character customization with, it would be Johnny Gat, right? And the second option for the prequel would obviously be Julius Little. Okay, you see the roots of Julius Little, see how the Saints were created, how they were brought up, maybe show a bit of his relationship with Benjamin King. And in this one, you could either be Julius Little or some random friend of his that would give you the opportunity to create a character, just like in the original Saints Row games. Alright, so we talked about the prequel, which, from what I can gauge, the temperature of Saints Row fans is the most popular option that people want, a prequel. Now let's talk about the sequel. This would be a continuation of the game after Saints Row 4 and Gat Out of Hell. Now, if you ask me personally, I highly doubt they're going to go with this option because I do think they are gauging the temperature of the fans and seeing what they want, and it's clear what I would say 90% of them want. I know there is a lot of people, okay, not just like 5 people, there's quite a few people, I've seen them in my comments, who like New School, who want to continue with New School. But here's the thing. They went full New School with Agents of Mayhem, and it did not work out. So I think they have no choice. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, Volition doesn't care about the fans. They don't like listening to the fans. Look where that got them with Agents of Mayhem. And they knew it. They had to lay off a ton of people. It really hurt the company. So they don't have a choice but to listen to the fans here. So I don't think this is going to happen, but it is a possibility that they have a continuation from Saints Row 4 and Gat Out of Hell. They bring back the boss, maybe on a new planet or something like that. Of course, there's also the time machine that can bring Earth back, so there are possibilities there if they want to continue with the New School side of things, but I don't know if I see it, man. Up next, we have the Reboot. Now, this one is super vague because they could go in a bunch of different directions. They could pick a specific year, random time, new city, new characters, maybe just have the Saints name and just run with that. Okay, it's like a completely clean slate, so you don't have to worry, again, about the Earth being blown up or about the other character somewhere else. It could be a variation of the Saints in a brand new city, right? Like here, maybe you create a new city called Still River or something, and you have Johnny Gat's long-lost brother, okay, running the Saints in Still River. You know, like that type of thing. Of course, they're not going to go with that, but you kind of get the feel of what I mean here. A reboot where they wipe the slate clean and try to spark something new while still using the Saints Row name, okay? And then here, the most we'll probably see from the old characters, the old settings and stuff like that, is maybe references, callbacks. Like, you know in GTA 5, that one mission with Lester where he mentions Niko Bellic? It'll kind of be like that, right? So they're wiping the slate clean, maybe with a few tongue-in-cheek references to the old Saints Row, and run with that to try and maybe spark some new success. Alright, and up next, I'm going to combine a few different options under the umbrella of a retcon here, because we all know that a retcon is very possible, because the thing I just said is a risk. If you do a reboot with brand new characters and everything, you have to make sure that you basically hit the bullseye with those while not shaming or undermining the Saints Row name. But if you do a retcon, okay, say you pick up right at the end of Saints Row the Third, or right at the end of Saints Row 2, where the boss says we can do whatever we want, you know what I mean? Then you still have all the nostalgia working in your favor. You've got marketable characters that people love, like Pierce, Shondi, Johnny Gat, Josh Burke, Oleg, Viola, right? Like, these are people that you can play with in the next game that you already know have some familiarity with the fans. But the interesting thing here is, where would they choose to begin the retcon? Okay, would they just start at the end of Saints Row 2 and say, oh, everything we did before never happened, this is the real story, or it was all a dream or a play or a movie or something like that, you know what I mean? Is that what they were going to do? Or because Saints Row the Third is the best-selling game in the franchise, do they start at the end of Saints Row the Third and maybe keep some of that feel? And the reason I said this is a bunch of different things under the same umbrella is because, do they then try to mash up Saints Row 2 and Saints Row the Third, mix those up together, and see what kind of vibe they get from that? Because they must know that SR2 and SR the Third, those are like the two most popular games in the series. And if you ask me personally what I think I would love to see the most, I would love to either see a prequel with Johnny Gat or a reboot, okay? Because I think in the reboot, they can still have a fresh game, a new game that doesn't just feel like a retread of an old game. Like if they're just trying to recapture what SR2 or SR3 were, because that's what the remasters are for if you want to do that. I think Saints Row 5, the next one, should be its very own game. But that doesn't mean that you can't bring cool stuff from the old games that made them successful, okay? You can definitely bring some awesome nostalgic, maybe activities, locations, characters, things like that from the older games that made them successful. But like I said in an older video, you don't want to turn this into Saints Row 2.5, Saints Row 3.5. It needs to feel like its own game, but that does not mean that you need to ignore everything that came before it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me on this one. Let me know what you guys want to see, obviously. I know even without me saying that, there's going to be a ton of people leaving their awesome ideas in the comments for the story. Now, I gotta say, you guys maybe saw my pinned comment in the last Saints Row video I made. You guys have some seriously awesome ideas. I love reading the comments on every single one of these, so you know I'm going to be down there. Even if I don't respond to yours, just know that I read it, because I read all of them. And thank you guys so much for all the support. If you want more Saints Row content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, notification bell, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one.